Hey everybody, it's Michael from GotchaRocks.com, and today I'm sizing a ring. It's a little bit above an 8 right now, and I need it to be about a 7.5. So we're going to size it down. Before we get going, please subscribe to the channel and like this video if you find it helpful. And I'm basically just going to walk through all the steps. I've kind of just cut out all the junk that you don't need, and you can follow right along, and you should be able to size a ring down. So let's take a look. So you can see that this ring is about an 8.25 and we need it to be a 7.5, so we're going to have to size it down. First thing we're going to do is measure with our calipers on our ring measuring gauge on the side of our mandrel. Get the right size. Next we're going to scribe it onto the ring, and we're going to cut this portion out. I'm going to mark it with a marker so you can see it. There you go. Next, add a little bit of burr life. This will just help the cutting process. Start with an upstroke and just nice steady cuts all the way through. After you have your piece cut out, just move it to the side, and we're going to use our ring bending pliers. And I like to squeeze this at, think about it, like 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock if the ring was a wash. And just squeeze in on the sides until the seam comes together. After you've done that, check it on your mandrel. Just gently slide it on and see if it's close to the right size. And when we round this out, you're probably going to gain about half a size. Often there's going to be a little bit of adjusting with that seam. So if you see any little gaps or anything like that, you can take it with the ring bending pliers and just adjust it until there aren't any gaps in that seam. Next, clip off your I'm using hard solder in this, so clip off a little piece of hard solder. And we're going to use a method for this that's actually what I call the pinch method, where we actually just open up the ring slightly with our fingers, and then we slide just a little bit of the solder in, so it's going to be sticking out of the ring as if you put a feather in a hat or something like that. And I'll show you a little side view. So it should stick out like that. You don't want to have it going all the way through. Once you're satisfied with the placement of the solder, we're going to put it in a mixture of boric acid and isopropyl alcohol. And this is a fire coating, so that when we actually put the torch to it, it's going to leave a protective coating onto the ring, and that will help prevent any sort of fire scale. So we're going to fire up the torch now and adjust the oxygen, and what we want for this is a nice hot flame. So the idea is we're going to melt the top of that solder down so it's like a little bead on top, and then we're going to come from underneath and then heat from there. So we just added a little bit of flux on there, and that's just going to help the solder flow. So that was the liquid that I just put on there. Now we're heating from underneath, and I'm using a pretty hot flame with this, and I'm moving it back and forth just a little bit, so I'm heating both sides of the metal, and there it goes. And it should happen really quickly. Now quench it, put it into the pickle, and this is going to remove any of the fire coating, and then I just dip it in our ultrasonic, which is soap and water basically. Next I'm going to file the sides of the ring, and I'm just filing down so that you can't see the solder seam. We're also going to sand on the inside of the ring and take out the solder seam there so you can't tell where it is. And then we're going to slide it onto the mandrel, and we're actually going to tap it with the plastic part of this hammer and just round it out a little bit. Next we'll sand it, clean it up a little bit, and then after that I like to work on the top of the ring and just take off that little nub. And that was actually from our casting, so that was a casting sprue that's on there. Next we polish. I'm doing the inside ring polisher, and then we do the outside, and I'm using a cotton wheel for this. After I'm done, I'm going to set the stone, and here's the finished ring. I just polish up everything. I look for any little marks or anything like that that might be left. Just try to make it as perfect as possible. And that's how you size a ring down. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment below. I'll be sure to get right back to you. One other thing, I'm going to put a link to a video where I show how to get a perfect solder seam. So if you're having difficulty getting those two ends of the ring to kind of butt up against each other without having a gap in there, I do have a little trick. So I'll put the link to that video in here as well. So anyways, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video, all that stuff, and have a great day. Bye.